What do I say? Welcome to the Toke&Trans podcast, where we talk life, love, and getting high. Grab a J and join us. Oh, welcome to the Toke&Trans podcast, everybody. It's your boys, Aaron and Bo. And today, we're talking Reddit stories. I did it.
Excuse us. Wow. Grab your joints, everyone, and join us. That is part of the intro, and we do recommend, it's not required, but we do recommend it. We want you to relax and enjoy yourself here, and we are doing the same thing.
Hell yeah. So we're taking it easy today. We're reading some Reddit stories and, putting in our little 2 cents here. Maybe they asked for it, maybe they didn't. I think posting on Reddit stories, you're kind of asking for it.
Absolutely. You're like, discuss below.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
We're gonna discuss right here.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks
so
for
our
joining.
First post here. The title is, and this was posted on r/trans. I don't know if I want to be a man or if I just hate being me.
Ooh.
So it goes on to say, I feel strange and tired. This past year, I've been getting so much gender envy of literally normal men, and it hurts. I always thought I was a girl and would always be, but this year, I discovered that I'd probably be happier as a man. I was super girly in high school, though, and I feel like I'm being disingenuous if I suddenly identified more as a boy. But I feel like I was only girly because I felt like I was making up for the fact that I wasn't like a lot of other girls in my friend group. I've had body problems all my life, but maybe that's because I don't have a nice body. I don't know. I probably wouldn't like being a boy either. I'm so short, and I don't know. I just feel hopeless. I feel like my identity is always being torn to shreds. I think I'd be happier as a boy, but I don't know. I just want advice and comfort. I think I don't know. I hate everything in this stupid world.
Oh. And could you read the title one more time? Read the title just one more time.
The title was, I don't know if I want to be a man or if I just hate being me.
Oh, man, that's heartbreaking.
I know. That really gets me. When they said I was super girly in high school, though, and I feel like I'm being disingenuous if I suddenly identified more as a boy.
Oh, man.
That really resonates with me in my journey, because I feel like that's why I started out gender fluid, because that meant I could still be a girl sometimes, and it allowed me to dip my toe into masculinity as an identity. And then, I just kind of like got more and more comfortable in the masculinity, and that kind of like my identity kind of adapted along with it. And I did also say that, like, when people would use he him with me, it felt disingenuous. Like, it felt like they were like
they didn't mean it.
Right.
Yeah. So just like our previous episode, y'all got to check that one out too.
Yeah. So I really resonate with this person at the very beginning of their. Oh shit! And it was posted 3 minutes ago.
3 minutes ago.
We got this. We got
fresh.
This in the middle of their.
Wow.
Of their meltdown.
Oh my gosh, this is tough. This is so heartbreaking, because I feel like the first thing I should think is like, you're like, if I were a boy or if I were a girl. And I just, the first thing I think is like, you are perfect. Like regardless of like which ones you choose, you as a person, like what the label is, what the box is, what the pronouns is, or are, you're just a special person, and I don't want you to like lose that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. They said that they hate being themselves, and I think that they're obviously being very hard on themselves. That, they mentioned not having a nice body, and like, and that they're not like other girls in their friend group. All of this aside from gender, I think, clearly there's a confidence issue. So
Hmm.
I don't, maybe you're not a man. Um, maybe it is a self-confidence issue and you are, cis, but you're just having a really hard time feeling like you belong somewhere. But you can be a girl and not be like other girls. Like you can be a girl and be a masculine girl. You can
Yeah,
be, you know,
that's also valid. Absolutely.
right. Yeah, and even, if it feels disingenuous suddenly identifying as a boy, no one says that's the way that you have to do it. You
You could,
can suddenly
yeah.
identify as something only online, or you could, maybe it's not sudden. Maybe you just start to mention it to people,
Hmm.
or maybe just one
Hmm.
friend is your safe friend for the time being. And, see how that feels. If you start to maybe hate yourself less, then we get an inkling that, you might be going in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. I would say like experiment with pronouns too, right? Like that might help you see, like you see how that feels within yourself. Like if you're, I mean, if it sounds like you might be going by she pronouns right now, and then if you wanted to experiment with they pronouns or he pronouns in those friend groups, or in with just one friend, and be like, hey, do you mind trying this? Or like Bo said, doing it online, right, where you're like
Yeah.
talking with your online friends and like sharing something with them, and kind of going from there, and kind of seeing how it feels when they say, they look great today, and like, don't they look
Mm-hmm.
great today? And then it'd be like, that, that feels cool. That kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, for me, even though I'm not non-binary, I remember very much so hearing they and being like, that's better. That's
Right.
better. That's much better. We're on the right
Right.
track here. And then I sat in there, it sat in that for a minute, and just like how that felt, I shared with more people, and they would say, "Oh, well, how should I, I like refer to you?" And I would say, "Whatever you want, don't matter." But I would like secretly hope they went with they or he, like more masculine. I'm like, you see it too, like
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So
Right. Yeah, like that's super affirming when they choose correctly. When you give them a choice and they choose correctly.
yeah, or where you wanted them to lean. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so and clearly therapy is also a great option for
yeah.
anybody ever. Probably therapy is a great answer for all of these Reddits, probably.
For probably every person on the planet, but specifically having someone that you could talk to about your gender, and that what that feels like, and what I remember my very first like therapist like visit,
Yeah.
like because I specifically chose this lady because she had like LGBTQ listed, and I was like, okay, she knows
Right.
this, she knows what's up. So when I went there and I was talking about it, just kind of tossed the idea out there, and she was like, well, yeah, that happens. And I'm like, well, what does that usually look like? So that's why I was just like asking more for information that that some people had may have already known or looked up online, or that their parents had taught them. I was like, I want to know what this information is, just to get all the information, all the options, and the different ways that people describe themselves and journey along their lives.
Right. Yeah, exactly. At the right up top, they mentioned they were getting so much gender envy of quote literally normal men, and so what maybe like dive into that. Like, what about these literally normal men is it that's making you
Hmm.
envious?
Is it
Is
their
it
style?
right? Is it because they have muscles? Is it are they strong? Is it
Hmm.
body hair? Like,
Hmm.
is it their voice? Is it because they can be
Yeah,
shirtless? Is it the peck thing? Like, is it clearly just aesthetics, or is it like how they
yeah.
are portrayed in society? Or like,
Yeah,
I think
and
definitely.
not to make it more confusing for the viewer, but I also think it's something to consider, is like the intersection between gender identity and sexuality. Because I remember when I was younger, I would think, "Oh, that guy is hot." Like I used to think Taylor Lautner was just so. I thought he was just
Oh,
a
my
snack. I thought he
word.
was a snack. I had the
Yes.
posters and everything, and then and I'm not gonna lie, same with Justin Bieber. I had posters and shit and everything. And I was like, I'm sorry, follow me here, stick with me.
Oh,
And I was like, I love it. I don't know, it's just cute. And then I was like thinking, like, why, like diving into it, like, why, like, why do I think they're cute? Like, would I date them? Like, wait, well, I don't know if I would date them. I'm like, wait, like, what's
right.
going on here? Like, I'm like, I thought I like had a crush on this person, but am I actually just like having gender, and or do I want to look like them? Do I love that aesthetic so much
Hmm.
because, so there's like a little bit of a little like intersection there, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you brought that up because I feel like I probably had like the opposite kind of thing where I
Yeah.
would see like really hot women, and I would think that that was because I wanted to look like that, and
Okay.
not because I was just like really attracted to them like in a
Yes.
sexual way.
Yeah. Yes, yes. I've had cis women to tell me that before, where they were like borderline between like, like, they're like, oh, that butt, like, I would love for my butt to look like that. And also, like, because I would love for my butt to look like that, that's a nice butt. And then it's like, then you're walking
Right.
the line of like, do I think that's a nice butt because I'm just admiring God's work, or am I thinking it's a nice butt because I want a piece of that cake. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, well,
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
you supposed to
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's very true. That's so
Sorry to go
true.
side tangent, but I
No,
I, I
no,
had that on.
no. That was that's very I'm glad we brought that up because I never really like thought about that. Um even like as a bisexual person, it was still like I was
Okay, yeah.
bisexual, but it was just like
It's interesting. You have to like figure it out for so individually for each person, and there's so many layers of figuring out your gender and your sexuality as a person as you evolve, that there's so many layers that your brain is just like spinning about how that applies to you and how that applies, and like how that can help, like, this Reddit user, like, trying to figure those things out for themselves.
right. Yeah. And we're all just this is all our first time doing it,
I
you
mean,
know.
we're all here on Earth the very first time ever.
Yeah, this is our very first time doing whatever it is we're doing. So,
That we remember. Yeah.
let's give each other a little break.
Yeah.
And good luck to this person.
Self love to that person for sure. We
Yeah,
love you.
for sure.
We should
Good
link
luck.
this in there. We should link this in their post later.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yo.
maybe there's maybe there's comments. Maybe I should refresh and see if there's comments.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
there's only
Darcy.
one comment. This person says you could be trans, but you need to figure out where the feelings are coming from. I agree. If it's coming from the perceived social advantages of being the other gender or generalized body image problems like from weight or build, it might not be the solution. That's what we were saying. If the
Yes, that was
thought
a great way to
is
word it.
if the thought is freeing, persistent and positive in spite of the negative aspects of transitioning, then you probably are trans. I love that. I love the way that person
Ooh.
defined that. If the thought is
Ooh.
freeing, persistent, and positive in spite of the negative aspects of transitioning, then you
Wow.
probably are straight. Love that. Good for
That
love
quote
that.
end quote,
That's great. I'm gonna upvote it. Good for them.
please.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Story number
So
two.
this one is posted on our "Am I the Asshole?"
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so the title is "Am I the asshole for asking a trans man to walk me home?" Hmm. I
Hmm.
don't think so far, but let's see.
Hmm.
Am I the asshole for asking a trans man to walk me home? I, 20 female, was invited to my sister, 24 female, and friends met at university. Okay. She was invited over. Okay. I know a couple of them, and one, the trans man in particular, more than the others. I did not know some of them. On the second day, we had all gone out for some drinks to celebrate finishing uni. We had eaten out during the day, and I suspected I had been accidentally given some gluten or gluten cross contamination happened, so I wasn't feeling well and was feeling worse as time went on. I have an intolerance, so I was not in danger, just feeling nauseous with stomach pain slash cramps. One of her friends, I'll call him Alex, 25, seems to like me and had been trying to flirt despite me telling him I wasn't interested. I said I was going to walk back to their apartment where I was staying as I wasn't feeling well. I knew roughly where we were and where I needed to go and was happy to go alone, maybe a 10 minutes walk. I also had my phone with Google Maps if I needed it. Alex immediately wanted to walk me home, and I tried to gently say I was fine, he could stay and have fun, etc. Her trans friend, Liam, 23, then offered and said he was tired anyway. So Liam offered to walk her home, saying that he was tired anyway. I felt more comfortable with Liam as I knew him far better, and he wasn't continually flirting with me, making me uncomfortable. I accepted Liam's offer and we left. Alex was visibly annoyed and tried to make me change my mind or let him come too. We insisted we were fine, and then a couple others came over to find him, so he left. Liam did return to the party a while later. Well, apparently I caused issues. Being more comfortable with Liam is, quote, transphobic, as I don't perceive him as a real man and therefore also a danger, end quote. And I, quote, put him in danger, end quote. There's been a lot of back and forth over similar points. There's a rift in my sister's friend group, and half are angry at me. Sis isn't sure who to side with, and isn't sure what happened exactly as she wasn't there at the time of the conversation. So, am I the asshole? Was I transphobic? No!
Wow,
I
this is some
don't.
tea. There is
I
some
don't.
there is some drama happening here.
I don't think that OP is being transphobic at all. First of all, Liam offered to
Yeah,
walk her home. And she had said Alex was making her uncomfortable. Liam wasn't.
yeah. And Alex was the trans. Or, I'm sorry.
Alex was not trans. Liam is trans.
Okay, I see. I got
Alex
you. Got you.
Alex was flirting with her all night, even
Hmm.
though OP kept trying to say to decline him.
Yes. Okay. Right. 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 Right.
And then Alex was like, "I'll walk you home. I'll walk you home."
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then she was like, "No, that's okay. I'm fine walking by myself." And then Liam was like, "Actually, I'm tired. I'll walk you home." And she was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, sure." And then Alex was like, "Well, I can come too." And
Hmm.
they're both like, "No, it's okay. You can stay, enjoy the party." And
Hmm.
then she was accused of being transphobic because she apparently, quote, didn't see Liam as a danger and therefore didn't see him as a man.
I I don't know about this. That is a stretch.
That's really a stretch.
I don't know.
I
I
can't
mean,
listen.
clearly there's a lot happening here.
I know that there's this thing that happens with trans men where like cis women will infantilize us. Um Usually I find it's usually like at the beginning of the transition when you're, still Twinkie.
And they're what are you saying? Like they think that we're cute, like extra cute.
Yeah, we're extra cute and they baby us and they,
I got you.
they're like, "Oh, small bean must handsome small boy must
I
protect my
got you.
small handsome boy." And and they you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Okay. I got you. I got you.
um so I feel like and there's that and like so there's some trans people who are like that's transphobic because you're like you're infantilizing us just because we're trans. Like I'm
Hmm.
still an adult. Like you know
Right.
what I mean?
Like,
um
yeah. Please still treat me like a grown up.
but this isn't that. This
Mm.
was someone being aggressively flirtatious to her and she didn't want it and then he kept pushing himself and then someone else offered who just happened to be a trans guy. Like
Yeah.
I think if it was anyone else, she would have said yes, you know?
Yeah. It could have
But
been. Yeah. I could totally see that. Totally.
and she said she was happy to go alone too, but then Liam was like, "Well, I'll just go too cuz I'm tired." And what the
Hmm.
fuck, dude? That's
To make,
crazy.
I'm sure to make her feel better too.
It's just crazy that there's half of her sister's friends group thinks that she was being transphobic for this. Like,
And
where's Liam? What is Liam
but
saying?
that's what I was just thinking. Like, was he worried about this? Like, did he feel like he was being like she was being transphobic, or was she like, I'm enjoying this, and homie was like, I'm also enjoying this, like, and then everyone else is like transphobia.
Yeah, I think most everybody else says not the asshole. I can't see any updates of
Unless
like
there's
what
some,
Liam had said, but
yeah, yeah. I mean, unless there's like some pieces here that we are just like not seeing, but from what we got, I don't think so.
yeah, some of these are saying like, what does Liam? How does Liam feel about this? And that question has not been answered. But
Mm.
I think it's fine. I don't know if this is sometimes sometimes people will rage bait on Reddit and like write fake stories.
Oh, to get people to engage,
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it might be fake, and they might just be who knows?
or they might not talk to Liam anymore. They don't know.
Maybe. On to the
All right,
next
what
one.
else we got?
Okay, this one's from r/trans. I'm scared that if I had never learned trans was a thing, I never would have been trans.
Mm.
I love this story. I'm so happy.
I
It's
already have so much to say. Go ahead.
I can't I can't I can't wait for us to talk about this. Okay. Advice. I'm 16, female to male. I started I started questioning at 13. I don't remember feeling dysphoria before learning what trans was. And I'm scared that I figured out what trans was and just wanted to be different or something. I don't know if I ever would have been trans if I hadn't learned what trans was. I'm actually scared right now because my mom brought it up after I told her I was trans, and I can't stop thinking about it. I didn't start feeling dysphoria until I started looking into my gender, and now I'm scared. The idea of not being trans and going back to being a girl freaks me out too, though, and just makes me feel this dread kind of thing. IDK, bro, what do I do? I'm also worried that I forced symptoms of dysphoria. I don't know if I ever would have felt them if I hadn't started questioning. I love this. I love this. I love this. So well, I'm so sorry that they're feeling this way. I don't love that. But
Yeah,
but
no, but
but I
thanks for bringing
love
it up.
this. I love this point of conversation. What do you have to say about it, Aaron?
So read the title one more time because I feel like the title is like their main.
Mm-hmm. They said I'm
And I'm
scared
not
that
looking at it.
if I hadn't I'm scared that if I had never learned what trans was, I never would have been trans.
See, just based off the title, my gut reaction is like, well, you wouldn't have traveled down that gender journey, or you may have found it on different terms. Man, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a
so
tricky one.
you're saying that they would have either never you're either agreeing with them that they would have never been trans or they would have inevitably found the information anyway.
Right, or you would have just like not pursued that. For the first one was like not pursued that life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you wouldn't pursue that like showing that externally.
Right. Right.
Yeah, no, no, I definitely see what you're saying because like if I didn't know what it was, like because I didn't know what being trans was, but I was trans before I knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to me, but like I think about this all the time.
No, what you got? I'm curious.
I think well I have this thought all the time. Like would I just not be trans if I never if my friend Quinn never came out on Tumblr and I never heard about it? I mean, surely by now I'd have heard about it, because it's everywhere. Like they're
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
passing laws saying that trans people can't do this and trans people can't do that. So I'm going to know what a trans person is at this point, you know.
right.
Um
Yeah,
and if I was going to, but then it's like Was it something that I related to because I was 22 and had gone through exactly those experiences that I had? What if I hadn't heard about it until I was 33?
Yeah,
Would those 11 years of experience have changed anything? Am I trans only because I knew what it meant at exactly the time that I learned it? Or is,
right.
and
Yeah.
you know what the fucking answer to that is? No one will ever fucking know.
Yeah, because it's like a what if, but if I did, but it's like, but what if you would have ran into a different person at Walmart
Right.
that was wearing, you know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
that's the difference. Like, would you have learned it now or later? Like I, well, I, yeah, I feel like that's interesting because like I didn't know what being trans was before I identified as trans and discovered that I was trans. But
Hmm.
the only thing I associated with trans people was what I had learned from people talking around in the church that they had had sex changes. There are
Hmm.
people that had sex changes that swapped their genitalia. That was
Yeah.
like the extent of my trans knowledge. That they
Right.
just chop one off and put another one on, or just
Yeah.
swap them. And because I'm a kid, like I'm just listening to I'm a sex change. I'm like, okay, that must be what that means. So like
Right.
that was my very limited exposure to what a trans person was. So I was like, it doesn't I wasn't even exploring that yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, that's a thing. But then once I became more like into my identity and my sexuality and like just hitting puberty and really feeling discovering myself more, then I felt like that's when I was able to kind of like reassess and look at things.
If Quinn hadn't come out and like I hadn't have and I didn't have that conversation, I was right, I was home on disability because I was not doing well mentally, and my therapist, agreed that it was more important for me to, not work and work on my mental health at the time. And I'd like to note that I am no longer on disability and am a
Well,
working
that's
member of society and have been for over, you know, like 7 years or some shit. I don't know. But that is to say that
I
like
got
I'm
you.
doing better mentally as a trans person. I feel like
Snap up,
if I hadn't
claps.
learned snaps, thank you. I feel like if I hadn't learned what trans was and like started my transition at all, I would probably still be mentally unwell. Um, I feel like a lot of the symptoms of dysphoria, if you take them out of the context of gender, were what I was being diagnosed as and
Mm-hmm.
for, like
Right,
bipolar
right.
disorder, like borderline personality disorder, manic depressive disorder, like all of these things where I like go in and out of fugue states and shit. Like all of this shit was, for me, ended up being because I didn't have the language and I was living as a woman when I was actually a man, but I didn't know how to express that. So it expressed itself in these
Yeah,
series of mental disorders that are diagnosed a certain way when looked at as an AFAB person
yeah,
or an
individually.
AFAB woman rather.
Mm-hmm.
If you had looked at
Mm-hmm.
me under the if anyone had looked at me under the possibility that I could have been a trans man, then that could have been introduced to me by a professional and we could have moved further. But I found it on my own, find my own professionals. We agreed and moved forward. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy now. That's the evidence
Yeah,
that I gave myself that I'm trans. I transitioned and now I'm
yeah.
happy. So,
Right. Yeah. I'm happy with what had worked out, and I'm happier. Like that also made me think of like if I would never would have came out as trans. It makes me think of there's this episode of Catfish. I've talked about it before. This episode of Catfish where they fall in love online. They're like, is this person really them? And then they on the show, and then they go and they like investigate and they like knock on the door and they're like, are you really with this person? Is this person what the picture really is? And all this and like then like they discovered that the person was not they were posing as a man in the relationship, and so then they said they came outside and they're like, "Are you really blah blah blah?" And it was she said, I'm a woman, but I'm basically a dude." And she was saying that she like was like she was like wore like a she was like even said that she wore a strap on all the time, just like loose, like 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 so that way she could have it anytime. So she was like basically the best of both worlds. And I remember my brain just being like, what in the world? Like like my mind was just blown. I was like, how in the world could like you could be like a girl, and like I felt like that person had like all of the pieces but didn't like, if that were me, I like resonated with that. But then I also was like, that probably would have been me if I wouldn't have figured out what being trans was. I'd have been like, yeah, I'm like the most dude of a stud you've ever seen. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like in every way possible.
Yeah.
So that also could have been a possibility, I guess, if we're going down that trail of like,
Mm-hmm.
what if I never found it?
Yeah. Um, just a little learning moment, because this was something that I learned too. Stud is a term specifically for masculine black women. Butch would be the term for white or otherwise, I believe.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what? Break it down for me again. What? Because I like to learn this stuff because clearly I don't know what I'm talking about when
I
in
don't
moments. I want to know. So tell me.
I don't remember the history of it. It was, but it's something that I've recently learned that stud is a term only for masculine black women. So it's not one for masculine white women to use, as far as I know.
Okay. I did not know that. I did not know that.
I
And
didn't either. I didn't
Butch is
either.
like you said, it is supposed to be.
Butch would be, yeah. You would just be
Okay.
butch.
All right. Okay. That's good
But
to know.
studs are for black
Yeah.
women. Yeah. Period. So
Gotcha.
I
Well, then, yes, that's what I would have identified for my life.
right. I don't think I don't but because I was also bisexual, I don't think I ever, I mean, I was always a tomboy. So I mean, getting more masculine wasn't really something that I liked. Like something like that, something that thought something blah blah blah. It wasn't something that I thought of doing to feel better, because I was already as masculine as I wanted to be. So, and I think that's also why people like the professionals in my life didn't really consider it, because I was always with a guy. I was always with a fucking guy. So so I just looked like a straight lady, and there was no reason for them to think that I was trans, cuz like, you're not even gay, why would you be trans or whatever the fuck. So so the title was, I'm scared that if I never learned trans was a thing, I never would have been trans. I'm saying, who cares? You're in a world where you did learn what trans was, and you are trans. So as long as you're
Yeah.
happy, if you have taken steps to transition and those steps have made you happier, then you're trans. And there's, you don't have to, don't stress yourself, stress blah blah blah. Don't stress yourself out over hypothetical timelines that don't exist and can't exist now because you have the language. Be
Yes.
happy. Embrace
Yes.
yourself. You have a mom
Explore.
that said that she's gonna keep the that said that she's gonna keep affirming you as long as you keep feeling this way.
Ah,
That's
that's
wonderful.
wow. Soak in that. Just soak in
Yeah,
that.
that's
Soak in
great.
that.
Love that for you. And yeah.
That's what we
Next.
have. That's what we have for you.
Okay. Next in r/trans, this is event. I feel like I can't be myself.
Ah,
Sad. Oh, this one was 18 minutes ago. Holy. All right. I've been thinking about I've been thinking about being trans, female to male, for a long time now. I don't really feel comfortable when I dress up and try to look feminine. I feel more comfortable in masculine clothes. You know what I mean? But I think I won't ever be able to transition because I feel like I'll lose more than I'll gain. I'd lose friends and family, and I don't think I'd have anyone to support me. So, what's the point anyway if everyone around me will treat me the same? I also feel like I'd get huge dysphoria on the daily because I'm very short and have a feminine face. Not a pretty one, but you'd know I'm actually a girl. My voice isn't that deep either. I wouldn't be able to buy a binder or tape or be able to physically transition like at all. The thing is that I don't mind being a girl all that much. I'm used to it and everything would stay the way it is, even if it makes me unhappy sometimes. But I feel like transitioning would just make it worse. So all I can do right now is think about this version of myself that exists inside my head and hope for better days. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. I think that it's perfectly okay to not mind being a girl all that much, especially if it's how you've been for however many years you've been alive. You know, I mean, that's how I felt at that's how I felt at 22. You know, so like that's why it was like I could like making the jump from female to male was like that wasn't something that was going to happen for me. The jump from female to male is was too big of a leap for me to even take. I and if the first, the first time it was introduced to me was my friend coming out as gender fluid, which is like something in the middle, so that was way more achievable to me, so that's why I was like I'm interested. There's no way I'm a man. I'm clearly not a man. I'm looking at myself in the mirror as a woman, saying I'm clearly not a man because I've not given myself any evidence that I am a man. And, you know, you're not, it's going to feel like a sham. This one's from r/trans 8 hours ago.
Mm.
Is it just me or do boobs always catch the eye?
Oh, that's a
I've
good. Oh,
noticed I've noticed something weird. I'm not actually into boobs, but whenever I see cleavage, my eyes just go there. Like at the office, I don't feel attracted to them, but I still find myself noticing every time. Does this happen to other girls too? Is it just natural curiosity, or does it mean something deeper about me? Sometimes I wonder if this says something about being a lesbian trans woman that I'm just realizing. So this is a trans woman questioning if if it's
yeah. I feel like
normal.
I no. Oh, it's a trans woman. Okay, okay.
I love this. And you know what? I gotta, personally, if I'm being honest, yeah, boobs do always catch the eye.
I mean, you are asking two people who enjoy boobs,
And
so
who
I
had
mean,
them?
they do, and exactly. So it's like yes,
You know?
and if you're not sure, maybe explore that. You
I,
which
so
she
there's a
said she is
motherfucker.
a lesbian trans woman.
She said she's,
She's a trans woman that might be is exploring the lesbian side of
she
things.
doesn't know. She said she's not actually into boobs. So I don't think she's a lesbian. But she
Oh, I
said
see what you're saying.
she's wondering if her
Hmm.
noticing boobs all the time and always looking at them makes her a lesbian, even if she's not like
No,
into boobs. She's just
I
always
got you. I
looking at
got you.
them.
I got you. Yeah,
Um,
we. I mean,
I think my I think I'm I'm gonna be I'm also bisexual. So, but I mean I look in a non-sexual way. You know, sometimes they're
yeah.
just pretty. Sometimes they just sit pretty, and you know sometimes I don't. I don't
I
know. It
don't
makes
know.
me
I
sound
think
like
it's
a
always.
pig.
I think it's just
Makes
it's
me
just
sound like a
different for
pig.
someone. Maybe they're not. Maybe she's not attracted to women, and she's just like how I was saying that like maybe it was their she's like admiring their figure because maybe she likes the fullness of their chest, and maybe
Yeah, like
that's
how we
something
were
that
saying.
you want to experiment with.
Yeah, like how we were saying before, is it like a you want to be them
Right.
or
Or you want them. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. No, I got you. That's just what I thought.
I'm learning today that there's a very fine line between the two.
Yeah. And that's why people I feel like that's why people are always like, well, why did you have to be a trans guy if you were already a lesbian?
Oh my
And
god,
then
I got that
it's
all the time.
yeah, me too. And I was like, well, and even before I had like a good way to explain it, like, who you are is not the same as who you're attracted to. I was basically having to like find a way to say that without having those words. So I was like, what, who I want in my bed does nothing to do with in the mirror. And I like, it took me a really long time to have like something to say that like made sense. And I feel like that's kind of
Yes.
hard because like you're trying to communicate something that's really hard to explain for yourself, let alone communicate to someone else who has no clue what that could be like. And are like, wow, really? That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's all the Reddits I grabbed for us today, Aaron.
That's all the time we got for today. Thanks for chilling and hanging out with us for Reddit stories. I think that was fun. I think I like having like the other engagement of the other of y'all you like listeners and stuff. Maybe we'll do some live streams. Y'all can tune in and give us some live questions and what y'all are going through. I think that would be fun.
Live streams. Hell yeah.
Live streams. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will
We
see
will
you
see you in the
in the next one.
next one.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.